everybody, I'm Hayley.
And I'm Kayli.
And today we're reviewing sequels.
Ooh.
I almost said, I don't know what I was going to say. What's the French word for sequel? Because I think I was going to attempt that.
I didn't know that. I don't know.
Because you know how, what is the Joker? It's not Joker 2.
It's like
Adieu et toi.
First infested, now this.
Anyway.
But yes, we're talking about sequels. We're talking about A Quiet Place Day 1, Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, Joker, Folie, and what's the last one? Smile 2. I know there's like some other sequels that also came out and also like a remake. There's Terrifier 3, which I don't feel the need to really participate in.
I'm okay. We saw the first 2, 3, or first 1 or 2.
Yeah, we saw All Hallows Eve, which I don't remember, and Terrifier.
But the same art.
Art the Clown.
Well, the clown is in there. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like you've seen one. I've seen a lot.
I heard it just keeps getting worse and worse.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that.
Gory movies aren't for me.
No.
I love horror, but I don't.
Is it even gore? It's just torture porn at that point.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
And then the other one was Speak No Evil, which is a remake of a movie that was already in English
2 years ago.
Yeah. Which I've watched the original one and didn't really love. So that's why I'm hesitant on seeing the remake. Because I'm like, the first one wasn't even good. Why would I want to see it again?
See it twice. And usually the second time around, not good.
Usually not. So we're talking about those 5. And we're going to have a bigger discussion about it later. About just sequels in general. Do we need them? Probably not. But first we're going to start.
You know that answer. Skip to 39 minutes.
Right. There will be timestamps down below. But we're going to start off with A Quiet Place Day 1, which is the 3rd installment, but it's a prequel to the first 2.
Yes.
Hayley, what did you think about this one? Yeah.
I'm not sure why this movie was made. I'm not sure why it was attached to the Quiet Place franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You could have literally switched out the aliens for anything and it would have been the same movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, the only similarity is, they're trying to be quiet, but I don't know why they made this movie and attached it to the franchise.
I don't get it either.
It didn't add to anything.
We learned nothing new about the aliens. Everything we saw, we already knew.
Exactly. So I guess they're trying to do more of like a personal storyline, which is fine. But in that case, it could have just been any apocalyptic movie where somebody is, learning to accept their fate, learn to live life again.
I liked the perspective of someone who was like dying currently and then being thrust into a world-ending apocalypse, because I don't think we really get that perspective a lot. It's mostly people who want to live, but this person was already ready to go. So
just waiting.
Yeah. So I think it was like an interesting perspective because she's like actively fighting against all of the measures to, live. But that was about it. That's the only thing I really liked, because like in Quiet Place 2, we get a flashback to the genesis of everything that happened.
Yes.
And so it's like we see it again with this one, but this time we're in New York City instead of the outskirts of New York. And it's like, girl, we've already seen this. And like if they would have tied it in with like a character that we were introduced to in the second movie, a little bit more, like the guy who ended up helping him on the boat at the end. He was in the second one on the island at the end of the second one. If it was more about him and his journey, then I could have been like, oh, this makes sense why we're even watching this. But this was 2 random people. I'm like, okay, one of them we're never going to see again, and the other one, I don't remember seeing him in the second movie. So
really no connection to anything, no tie to anything
at all. And it's not even by John Krasinski, so it's like, this isn't even his movie.
That was my thing. Why is he not? I'm sure it's in some interview that I didn't see an article about, but why was he not attached to this one? We don't know.
I think he's making his own. Like, I think he's making a 3rd one, which is going to take place after the second one.
He just said, y'all can, okay.
He said, sure. That sounds like a great idea.
Make sure that check clears.
So I don't know. I feel like I don't think it's a bad movie, but like you said, you could replace it with anything. It doesn't have to be a Quiet Place related film. It could have been anything.
No.
I like the perspective, and the cat.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed, I guess, the storyline. Like you said, it was interesting. You see somebody who wasn't expecting to live very long, and now they're in an apocalypse, and now everybody's kind of on the same boat as them.
Yeah.
And how do they learn to live again? So I like that perspective of it, but I just, as a sequel,
Do you like the franchise of A Quiet Place?
I I think it's okay. I don't know, unless we're gonna really make progress in these movies in terms of, you know, defeating the aliens, then I don't really care to see it. Because I feel like sometimes, kind of like The Walking Dead, they're like, it's not really about the zombies or whatever the monster is. It's really about the people. And I feel like that's just so overdone. Not overdone, but we've seen it time and time again. Yeah. It's an apocalypse. I mean, it was an interesting twist with the first movie in terms of like, oh, just a different type of monster. They can't see, but they can hear really well. So, I mean, you have that. But after a while, if we're just going to keep seeing kind of the same thing, I mean, maybe with the family, we'll get some resolution, or we kind of see how the family end up safe, maybe okay. But I don't know if I care to see another one. Do you?
I didn't watch this one in theaters, so I probably would watch the next one at home as well.
Okay.
Because I just wasn't interested in it. It seemed like a weird movie to be making about a day one that we already kind of saw, but I get this is a different perspective, but it just felt redundant. And then watching it, it was redundant. We didn't learn anything new. We know they can't swim. We know that water affects their hearing to some capacity. And that was about it.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, cool. That was great.
Yeah.
Fantastic performances. I think the acting was good. But
of course. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah.
I just, in terms of a sequel for what's already been done.
Yeah.
Or a prequel, if you will. Sorry. Don't yell at me.
But I guess we can move on, unless you have any other closing thoughts.
No, I think that's good. What's next?
Alien Romulus.
It's not Romulus?
Romulus?
Romulus.
So, are you a fan of the Alien franchise already?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I love the Alien franchise.
Oh.
I really liked the first movie. I remember watching it when I was younger. So scary because, you know, aliens running around. And then I think some of the second, third, fourth ones get a little fuzzy. But I really enjoyed Prometheus. And then we have this one. Once again, not really sure we're adding anything.
Period.
Yeah. I don't think anything was new. Yeah. I do think what was really cool about this movie is the basketball player. What's his name?
I don't know. That
was great. I saw, so one of the, spoiler, obviously for this whole entire thing, one of the alien monsters at the end is kind of a hybrid. I mean, they're all hybrids taking DNA from humans, but this one's like a hybrid. And so I thought, from when I was watching the previews and some of the videos online, I thought it was CGI. Come to find out, it's a basketball player. I think he's in college right now, but he just has the proportions to basically look super cool in this movie as a alien.
Very well.
It was really good. I'm really glad that they ended up using somebody who's like a real person, because I feel like CGI is so overdone.
Yeah.
And I get it. You can't have everything be real life, but I just thought that was cool. So I will say that was probably my favorite part of the movie, is the alien being like a real person. And I mean, I don't know if they exaggerated anything with CGI, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, he looked cool.
He looked
very scary.
I'll say that.
Boy, traumatic births this year. We saw this one. We saw Immaculate and The First Omen. All traumatic. I was like, watching this movie, Alien Romulus, I was like, Tristan, I don't know if I could do this. He's like, Kayli, it's not going to be like that.
Parasites everywhere.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, but I was going to say, I mean, I liked the movie. I thought it was entertaining enough, but I mean, does it follow the same formula as every Alien movie before it? Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I like Prometheus a lot. I feel like it at least we're moving the story along. She wants to find out where we came from. So we find the origins of how kind of all this started with our creator, and then how the aliens went run amok and then killed them all. And then like that one I like because we're expanding the storyline, the universe there. But this one I don't think really expanded anything. I mean, we find, unless they're going to build off of the fact that there is now this medicine that they're trying to give people that make humans seemingly invincible, but then turns out they explode. And I do have a question. So
put your hand down.
Okay. So the girl who was the sister.
Yes, the one who's pregnant.
Curly hair, the pregnant girl. Did she give herself? Okay. Did the main character give herself one too? Okay. I must have been confused, because at the end I was like, didn't the main character give herself? I thought she injected herself with the medicine before she went back.
No.
Did I mix them up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just a curly hair.
Why did she inject? Oh, because the robot guy, the android, told her to. Right? Or he was kind of convincing her that she needed to do this?
No, he was saying that she needed to leave. That's what he was saying. But she overheard that this like could help her get better.
Okay.
Because she was dying. So she thought this could help.
Okay. I think I was not really understanding what was going on. Okay. So because I know she had the little mark on her neck. And then that's what I guess, rapidly changed her baby.
Yep.
But that's crazy. So I guess, so that was like a fourth alien. I don't know. Because obviously that her baby did not look like an alien with like the long.
Yeah. The one that we're
head.
used to.
Mm-hmm. It was like another type of biracial. We don't know.
They take an oval.
What about you?
So I'm not like a big fan of the series. Like I didn't really watch them. I thought I had seen the original Alien, but I've actually seen the second one because I think that's my dad's favorite, because I thought there was a little girl in this one and there was not. So I was a little confused. But we started Alien Romulus, and then Tristan was like, I was like, Tristan, do you know anything about Alien? Because I was like, oh man, it's gonna suck because like we get to know all these characters and like most of them are gonna die. He's like, how do you know that? I was like, Tristan, have you seen Alien? He's like, I don't think so.
You have not.
So we stopped and we watched Alien, which I realized I also never seen before. So it was fun, but it was definitely, the alien was a man in a suit.
Yeah, it's giving, what was it, the 80s, the 90s, I'm sorry.
I think it was like 79, 80.
79?
No.
I don't know why I was thinking it was.
Let me look. Let me fact check. It was a long time ago.
It was old.
Ancient history. 79.
79, wow.
So I think they did good with what they could, but it was definitely,
I know that was scary as hell for 1979.
For sure. But I did really like it. But like watching that and then watching Alien Romulus, it's very much the same movie. Like it's basically the same.
It basically is.
Yeah.
I thought what they were going to do, I thought it was going to be a little bit more interesting in the fact that the aliens were going to come to the planet. Because I saw all those miners and they're struggling, they're trying to, I thought they were going to do a lot more with that. And it seemed like once they were out, they were out. Unless they have a part 2, but I was thinking, I thought their ship was going to maybe crash back down.
Yeah.
Alien was going to be released, and then some people were going to take the medicine because they're like, we need to fight. And then it was going to, I thought it was going to be like that. And we're going to have a big issue on the planet, on the ground. The whole planet was going to get like potentially wiped out or turned, and a bunch of aliens let loose. And then maybe the next one that they're going to do, somebody comes to the planet. And I don't know, like I thought we were going to go bigger.
No. It was still on a spaceship.
I was a little bit disappointed because I'm like, oh, we're going to get maybe another story here, or we're going to expand the story because it's always on a ship. The ship is stranded and floating away. Somebody goes on it because they want something or they're trying to find something. And then the aliens.
Yep. That's basically the movie. All the movies.
So I think, once again. So I didn't think it was a bad movie. Yeah. I was still entertained, but I was like, okay.
I will say this movie got a visceral reaction out of me that I was not expecting. So at the end when she's fighting the baby and she's climbing that rope, I don't know why, but I was very invested in, like, I was in my head, I was like, damn, that's gotta be hard as hell, climbing up that rope, trying to get in there. And then when that man's face popped up, I sounded like an old grandma. I was like, Tristan was like, are you good?
You're like, sir, this is terrifying.
But what was weird is like I didn't feel that adrenaline rush of fear. I just made the noise. My body like reacted without me knowing. I was like, girl, it wasn't that bad. Calm down.
Now you're in the movie.
I was literally her. So yeah, but I really liked it. I had a good time with it. I feel like with sequels and with remakes and with whatever reboots, whatever you want to call them, sometimes it's not worth it. But with this one, I feel like because technology is kind of on our side now, especially with making aliens looking more than like a man in a suit, I think that's why this one works a little bit better, because it's like before Alien wasn't giving scary for me watching it now, but now it's like, oh, like that looks really good for like the effects that they did. And then like with them having the hybrid of the baby, it was very creepy and intense.
Like
and
how far can it go? I thought the baby was gonna maybe have a little bit of a conscience, but
he seemed to like almost like recognize his mom a little bit,
maybe. But then he's like, and his little tongue came out, and I was like, there it is.
He said,
"Because he ate her."
My instincts are taking over.
I guess so.
Yeah. So, but I liked it. I would recommend this one if you like but I don't know.
That's your thing. I would definitely, if you enjoy the Alien franchise, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with this movie, but just know it.
But would you feel like it's redundant if you're a fan of the franchise?
How many there are there? There's like 6.
There are a lot. Because I was looking up the timeline, like to see like when this falls in place. But there's like novels, there's graphic novels, there's shorts, there's all the movies. Oh my bitch. It's a lot. And then there's like contention on if Alien versus Predator even counts. I was like,
not the whole universe,
girl. It got intense. I was like, I'm just really trying to find where Romulus fits in. So if we could get to that answer.
Hey guys, can we talk about what's happening today?
Right. I don't care. But yeah, overall, I like this one, but I think it was a better movie than A Quiet Place Day 2.
I would say so.
Or Day 1. I'm saying Day 2. But yeah. Next, we have Beetlejuice. Hayley, are you a Beetlejuice fan?
I liked it. I saw the first one for the first time. I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Crazy.
Also, why is it Beetlejuice, but it's Beetlegeist? Help.
I don't know.
Because like in there, his name is not spelled Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
they call him Beetlejuice. But
I'm
they also
pretty
refer to him
sure
as Beetlegeist. So.
We're also like conjuring him right now because we said it at least 10 times.
Sorry. Anyway, I like the first. I mean, this was like a silly kind of comedy. Mm-hmm. I like the first one. I mean, I thought it was interesting. You have the couple, and then they die, and then they're trying to figure out how to navigate the life that is the afterlife, and blah blah blah. So, I mean, I enjoyed it. And then I don't know. I like the second one. I feel like it made sense. Beetlejuice is back for his queen, his bride to be. So, I mean, I thought that this one wasn't at least a force. It would make sense that he wants his revenge for his bride. Mm-hmm. But I was surprised how much he's not in the first one.
Oh,
like the first one's literally named after him, and then he was in it, but he wasn't really in it. Like they would do something to get rid of him. I forgot what they do. But they can kind of make him disappear, and he would just leave. So the first time I was like, I liked it, but I feel like he really wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, you're right. It's a lot more about the Maitlands or whatever, them and Lydia and that.
Yes. So he was a lot more in the second one, but I enjoyed it. I thought they had a good little twist in there where Jenna Ortega, I forgot the name of the movie, but her character, trying to the crush of the guy, and then we find out he's dead, but she can see him because she gets to so
sorry, another motherhood thing that if that was my daughter and she's over here fucking roasting me, talking about my mom fucking believes in ghosts, loser, get out of school. Who's paying for this?
Oh,
me and my money, and also your step grandma's money. Get out.
Shout out to the stepmom or the step grandma.
Yeah,
she was funny.
No, she's hilarious. But yeah, I love Beetlejuice. I grew up watching it. Like my parents showed it to me, like my mom did, or whatever. So I'm very familiar with the first movie. This movie, I feel like, is not a bad sequel, but I felt in my heart of hearts that sometimes I was very aware that they were trying to remake the magic of it.
Yes,
and I'm like, it's not as beautiful as that first experience was. So it's like it hits marks, but also it kind of falls flat in some areas. Like I feel like Winona Ryder's acting in this was a lot of face work and not a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of times where she's like, I'm like, Lydia, say something. Please, I beg of you. Do something. Why are you even marrying this man? You're like, I guess. Lydia, stand up.
Yeah, her character was a little, not weak for me, but I really was like, girl, come on.
I was like, I don't like Jenna Ortega as your daughter. Like, not in the movie. She's a great actress. But as her daughter in this movie, I was like, she's annoying, but she also has some points. Step up. Lydia, get it together. But I also like the storyline of Beetlejuice's wife, like fell flat a little bit, like with the resolution.
It just ended so fast.
Yeah. I thought she was going to be a bigger deal because I've never heard of a soul sucker. This is new in the Beetlejuice universe. So I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, it just came in the end and then they destroyed her.
She's
and then
dead.
Like,
I was like, oh, cool. So other than those things, I love Michael Keaton. I think he did a great job still as Beetlejuice. And I think he brought the beautiful factor of like the remake. Him and Catherine O'Hara, which is the grandma, I think they did a great job, but everything else felt like a little flat, just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's hard to capture the charm of older movies.
Yep.
There's just like a charm to it. Even the way it looks, it's a little fuzzy, it's not as clear, so it's a lot harder to capture that same magic, if you will, because now it's just like super HD. It is a lot harder. So I think
someone smudged the camera lens just a
little bit. It needs to look a little dreamy, a little like, am I on drug? I don't know. But I mean, I liked it. But I see what you're saying. I do think Lydia's character, I needed her to be a little bit more, like she seemed like such a different character from the first movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she was a little bit more. So I don't know, if life just happens, you know, whatever. She, she's having issues with her daughter and her ex-husband passed away and going through some stuff. But I do think I missed a little bit of her original character acting, but I mean, overall I liked it. I think it was pretty solid.
I liked how they still kept in theme with like the practical effects and stuff like that, like with the first movie, like there's things, and they kept those things in the second movie too.
The worm.
And like even when Beetlejuice like opened up his stomach and stuff like that, it was very reminiscent of the first movie.
They didn't go too much with CGI. I mean, I like when people do the prosthetics and everything like that. Like I think that's
more
such
practical stuff.
Sorry, side note, somebody was playing a scene from Pirates of the Caribbean. Have you seen those movies? What's his name, the one with the tentacles? That guy,
Davy Jones.
They were showing a scene where he's like playing the piano It looks absolutely stunning. And they were like, what? And this movie's from like 2013, mind you. They're like, what happened to this type of CGI? And a lot of people were saying that the amount of money it takes to pay people to do that is like super astronomical. So they cut costs by doing CGI that's not as good. So I didn't do my own personal research. I could be wrong. But a lot of people were saying that. And it would make sense because it looks so good. Like I would believe that came out recently. And it just, everything flowed well. Like it was CGI, but I actually didn't mind it. And they were saying that this actually takes like true work artists. I don't know. But I thought that was interesting.
That's so sad though. Because it's like, we've seen a lot of CGI in the past few years where it's very obvious CGI. And I'm like, we're in 2024. How is it getting worse? But that makes a lot more sense. It's like they don't want to pay anybody. Yeah. So that's why.
And it's just like a lot of movies are a ton of CGI. That's why I don't like watching a lot of the superhero movies anymore. A lot of them are dealing with the meta universe or whatever. And it's just the whole movie is CGI.
Yep.
I feel like it loses a part of that magic you're talking about. Like not everything needs to be CGI. I'm okay with things being just like physical items. Like to me, it looks better. If not, it looks like I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, but sorry, that was just a side note. But to your point, I like how they brought it back a little bit because it keeps that charm.
Which is good because I'm like, you couldn't do a Beetlejuice movie without any of that. It's
you
like,
can't. You gotta have the wacky stuff that's happening.
It was great. I would recommend for sure.
I would too.
Yeah. The next one I don't recommend. Joker Folie 2. There were 14 songs in this. 14? I counted every time they sang, except when they were singing when the Saints come marching in. I didn't count that
because it seemed like it was really happening.
Well, also that, but I'm like, it's like a little bit. It's not a production like all the other ones were. But if I counted that, it probably would be closer to 20. But every time a song came on, I was doing this. It's like, oh great, we're already at 10. Fantastic. In 2 hours. We didn't need any more. When Joaquin Phoenix was saying, shh, don't sing, just talk to me. I felt that. I was like, please. Stop. So we were fans of the first Joker. We talked about it before.
Yes.
In a different format than this, on your bed.
Oh my gosh, was that long ago?
Yeah. But yeah, we were fans. We're not really big into the superhero universe, as we've already discussed, but we really did enjoy Joker. It was a different take. I thought it was great. What did you think of the second one?
I will say this. I don't think it was as bad as everybody was saying, but I will say a couple songs too damn long, a couple hour too long. Yeah. It was very drawn out. I don't mind singing, but I think sometimes it just seemed forced to me. Like they're really trying to make this some like art piece or make it really cool. I feel like Lady Gaga was not singing to her potential.
She said in an interview, I had to learn how to unsing for this movie.
I was going to say, I saw something that it was almost intentional.
Yeah.
That they weren't singing. And I was kind of sad.
I don't know about Joaquin Phoenix, but Lady Gaga was basically.
And I don't know if they were doing that because they don't want her character to know how to sing. But I'm sorry. You hired Miss Lady Gaga.
Not for her acting, but for her singing.
I want to hear her sing. Like, if you put her in here and she's singing, and you're going to tell me she had to learn to unsing, she could not sing. Don't piss me off. So I think that pissed me off because I'm like, I know she can. I was listening and I'm like, I'm not like a expert in all things Lady Gaga, but I think she can sing better than this. So that was in. And I think overall, it could have been shorter. I think it'd have been an okay film if it was just shorter. A lot less singing. What about you?
A lot less singing. I agree with that part too. I have a theory about this movie.
Okay.
So talking to Tristan, he was talking about how people who are really big fans of the comic book.
Sorry, side note. This is an actual comic.
I don't know about this part.
Okay. But because I kept seeing that too. I'm like, is this in line with anything DC or is this like a separate comic? I don't know where this lands.
I don't know. From what I'm understanding, what Tristan knows, because I don't know shit. But there's not a backstory for the Joker. That's like the whole thing. Is like nobody really knows. In the Batman
universe.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard the Joker tells like many stories and nobody knows what's right. Okay.
And so when there are a few explorations of like the backstory of the Joker, like there's very few of them. There's not a lot of them. And so Joker, the first one, is very unique in that way where we're seeing the backstory, where we're seeing how he becomes Joker. And with this movie, he was on trial. And they are asking the question if he's Joker, if Joker's real, blah, blah, blah. And then, spoiler alert, he ends up getting killed at the end. And then the person that kills him carves a smile on his face, which is very reminiscent of Joker. Mm-hmm. So my theory here is, I don't know. I thought that the first movie was good, but I don't know if our director-writer might have gotten some ill reviews about how they're like, how dare you give the Joker a backstory? Like, that's the whole point. Like, we're not supposed to know who he is. And so he goes and makes a movie basically saying, oh yeah, he's not actually the Joker. So you're telling me I watched 4 hours worth of content and 2 of those, you know what I mean? For nothing. He's not even the Joker. You name the movie Joker de la foi, and it's not, he's not the Joker. But, and so also my theory that he did this in spite as well is because why make it a musical? So I think it's a good idea to make the first movie, right? You're going into a market that's untapped. Nobody really talks about the Joker and his backstory. Yeah. And who loves the Joker? The fans, the comic book fans, people who love DC. You think those are the same people who love musicals? 2-hour musicals? Musicals with 14 songs in there? With Lady Gaga? No.
Miss Lady Gaga?
They do not. I feel like this movie was made out of spite because that man said, oh, y'all don't like this? Well, you definitely not gonna like this. And he said, period.
I saw a theory. I don't think this is backed by anything, but I saw a theory online on Reddit on something that they were saying that the first movie got a lot of backlash from some people because it was supposed to be uplifting, what is the incels or whatever, or it's giving people, that's what I heard. They were like, the wrong people are finding power in this movie. Right. Or like, you know, so somebody was saying that the director or, you know, the creator was like, you know what, that's not what I wanted. So now I'm going to kind of flip everything and it's going to be not what they wanted. Yeah. So I don't know if that's true, if it was what you're saying, basically trying to reverse or just undo what was done or not. But I did see that. So yeah. I don't know.
It makes sense to me because it just doesn't make any sense for this to be a musical. Like if this movie wasn't a musical, I can buy into the storyline of Arthur has started a movement. This might have not been the Joker, but he was a Joker who in turn created other Jokers. I can see that being like a pretty decent storyline. And I know that's there in this movie as well. But then you decided to make it a musical. And that's why I'm like, no, you're being fucking petty. You put 14 songs in this bitch and you didn't think, you know, that people were going to hate on it immediately.
14 is crazy.
Very insane. And yeah, just for it at the end to be like, there's no Joker. It's always been Arthur. And then for Harley Quinn to denounce him too. That's how you know he's not the Joker. They're supposed to be together.
I needed more of her backstory. They're like, yeah, she's a rich white girl with a psychiatry degree. I'm like, psychologist degree? I probably said all types of wrong, nasty. But you know what I mean? I'm like, okay. Yeah. I thought they're going to dive into how she got here in love with the Joker. Yeah. Because I think in the comics, she is like interviewing him as a therapist or, you know, trying to help him.
She is his therapist, yep.
She ends up getting
wrapped up in
it. So I'm like, okay, I see that. But she just already was wrapped up in it.
So, and then that could also point to the fact that this is not the Joker because that's not the backstory that we know for Harley Quinn and Joker. So maybe that's more evidence as that Arthur is not the Joker. But let's name 2 movies called The Joker and starring Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur, who becomes the Joker. But then say, it's not actually the fucking Joker. Psych. Tricks on you. Hope you enjoyed 4 hours of content that meant nothing. Oop. That's how I felt. I was pissed. I was like, there's no way. This has to be a joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I was definitely waiting for the Joker to take over and run amok.
Yeah.
But I guess I was like, is this symbolism? What is the character development here? Is Arthur deciding that there really a Joker, but Arthur is just, you know,
renouncing it?
Yeah, kind of like, actually, I don't want to live that life. Like the Joker is there because in the opening scene, you see that the cartoon Joker is being gotten by his shadow. So it seems like there's 2 things going on here. There's his inner Joker that has been created because I believe the lawyer, his original lawyer, who was like, it seems like there's a persona being created here that's out of defending Arthur, which I thought was really great. And so for Arthur at the end, I guess, I don't know if they showed Arthur's old friend that was on the stand, and that was kind of what did it, where he realized his roots because the guy that was in the, what was it?
Where they were just clowns? I don't know.
Yeah. When, you know, he was like, you know, you're the only one who didn't bully me. You never made fun of me, but look what you've done.
I think it was that and the combination of, I don't know if that man was assaulted in prison by those prison guards.
That's right. That happened. Well.
And that other guy got killed too. And that's when he changed. And that's when he was like, no, I'm not doing this. I do think there is a theme of him there's two Jokers for sure. There's Arthur as the Joker, and then there's people taking his message and running with it and doing whatever they want to, which is why at the end those guys are like, oh, we're gonna fuck shit up, blah blah blah, and he said, girl, I'm not a part of this.
Yeah.
And he dips. I do think there's messages of that, and I think that could have been great to explore if it wasn't disguised under a 2-hour musical. Whenever I think of like this movie and like the cool things about it and like the discussion points that we're trying to do, I'm like, that is interesting. It could have been a good time. We could have discovered like, oh, like maybe this isn't the Joker, it's a Joker.
Yeah.
And then, but you wasted my time with these fucking musical scenes for way too long. I did like one of the songs, I'm not gonna lie, but still. Listen, I love being petty. I think it's great. I think it's a great hobby to have, but not for me. Not when I'm the victim. And I didn't even do anything wrong.
A pettiness.
Yeah. I do think this movie is as bad as people say. I don't think it's worth your time. I feel like if you like the original Joker, this movie is just shitting on that one. And he's basically taking back everything he said.
So how would you imagine your perfect ending? Not perfect ending, but what were you expecting or hoping at the end of the film?
I wasn't really expecting him to die, which I think was cool because I was like, oh, that changes a lot. I think this movie had the bare bones of being a good time. I liked the storyline of maybe he does renounce it all and he doesn't want to be tied to this anymore. I just feel like those things were really just lost and we weren't really focusing on that.
Because of the theatrics of the musical and everything else.
And even if there were like a few songs, I think it could have been better. Like if we cut it down from 14 to 4, I think we could have explored more and not taken 2 hours to do so. So I think it's a cool concept, but I feel I still probably would have been slightly disappointed because it still would have felt like, oh, you know, he isn't really the Joker. And so we kind of just built this character up to just kind of tear it down. But I guess I could see more of the point of like, oh, but he's starting this movement. Yeah. And like it's gotten out of control because now people are taking something that wasn't what Arthur was intending when he became the Joker. People are using it now as a sign of anarchy. But I'm like, what did you think you were going to accomplish when you murdered a man on TV?
That was crazy.
What were you expecting? Did you think that Joker should have lived or what did
I wanted him to go crazy.
I was expecting not this man getting out just to get caught right back.
I guess he was tired. I don't know.
He was.
But I don't know. I was ready for the Joker to take over and because I was like at this point, fuck it. But not a good message.
I guess not.
Get your inner self. But I guess I was, I don't know. It would be interesting to see because I felt like the whole character is kind of a product of society and how he was mistreated and all this other stuff. So it was an interesting case, you know, is this person, you know, mentally ill? Are they not? But then it would be like, well, what would happen? Like, is this not society's like revenge, I guess, against it? Not that I'm like encouraging the behavior, but in a symbolic way, I was kind of like, is that what this is? But I guess I didn't mind that Arthur decided to just let go, but I just feel like, well, then what was it for? I don't know.
What was it for? Because we're not going to get a third one.
Unless.
I will not be there.
It's the real Joker. And then we have
That's what it's called.
The guy at the end.
It's like the Final Destination series when they said the Final Destination and then they made a sixth one. I'm like,
just
so
kidding.
It wasn't the final. But, okay. You ready to talk about Smile?
I am.
Smile. What'd you think of Smile? I don't think we ever talked about the first one.
We didn't because we didn't watch it, or I didn't watch it before we recorded this.
Oh.
I had watched I watched the Smile.
What'd you think of Smile?
I liked it.
Oh.
I thought it's your trauma, mental illness maybe.
Equals horror. Yes.
Equals horror movie. So I think I overall liked it. I hated the ending
of the first one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I really wanted her to win and her to get away from it, and I wanted her to not feel like she's crazy and da-da-da. But I mean, I liked the concept. I liked it. Did you like that one?
The first one? No, I did not.
Okay.
I didn't really want to see this one because I saw the trailer every time we went to the movies, and I was
that little girl was signing, or she's signing the little girl's shirt.
No. I was talking about the first one. That I didn't really. The first one. I didn't like it. because I felt like the trailer gave away everything. Like,
yes.
you know, the sister coming up to the window.
I know. That's why when I saw it, I was like, I've seen this already.
Like all the cool jump scares, I felt like were wasted on the trailer.
That's a jump scare you keep in the trailer, but it's not in the movie. You know, sometimes they do that. That's what you need to do. That's what
we need to bring back is lying.
Bring back lying to your customers, to your viewers.
Because I'm like, when it happens, like I know it's going to happen. So it's like I can prepare myself. Right. With the Alien Romulus one, I didn't know that was going to happen and it got me. See? Success. But yeah, with the first one, I didn't like it at all. I thought the jump scares were just pretty overrated for me, especially since I already seen them all. And then the storyline was just meh. The second one. Hey. Look at me smiling. I liked
second one.
It was good.
That shit was so good.
So you felt the same
Oh my God. I was like in the theater and I was like, are these chills? I love chills. Literally at the end, because I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to be on stage. I was like, oh, I don't know. It was funny because when I first watched it, I was like, that'd be crazy if she's on stage. So I was like, I feel like that's where they're going. And then towards the end, I was like, okay, that's not where they're going. And then I was like, oh, that is where they're going. It's like I guessed it, but I liked it. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. I love this movie. This one is up there. Don't let this be on my little top 10 list. This one would have been up there.
Yeah. This one was good. I think it surpasses the first one completely.
Easily. Yeah. Like I thought the first one was solid. I thought it was, entertaining enough. But I do agree with you. There were a lot of parts where it was basic. It was just, kind of falls along the lines of a regular horror film. But this one, the only one on the damn list, better than the first one.
Yes, I agree.
Easily. I really like this. Miss Naomi.
I loved her.
I like you. She was doing so good. I literally was like, she was acting good. It was funny. Like there were moments where I'm like, it's crazy this is still funny right now, but they had moments. Yes, but I thought it was good. I mean, they had the twists, and I know I saw some people online who thought the twist was dumb. The whole it was all a dream. But I want to say to you people, there's a moment where she's being attacked by, I call them the dance group because I thought they were like her backup dancers or something. Were they? I don't know.
Yeah, anyway. I don't know.
When they attacked her, one of them put their arm in her mouth.
Yeah.
And that's the telltale sign of the demon kind of entering you. So I feel like that wasn't a stupid got you moment, because if you watch the first one that happens and then she turns, and the second one, it wasn't the full entering, but that's when I was like, from here on out, it's going to be questionable because they end with that. So I'm like, I don't think that they did something where it was like, gotcha. And it was just like done out of nowhere. They set it up because ever since after then, she was pretty much hallucinating. Yeah. She wasn't completely taken over, but like she was.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. Like, at what point was her reality not real anymore? Because whenever she does end up on stage, I was like, girl, huh? I was like,
yeah, how did you get here?
Yeah. And I was like, so what was real? Like, is her mom for real dead? Blah, blah, blah. But now that you bring that up, because I rewatched Smile today, which was after I've already seen it. So, yes, they do a lot of the mouth thing. There's not a decent way to say that.
The entering.
The mouth area.
The taking over.
Yes. And that's. Yeah, I like that theory that you have. I think it makes sense.
At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Or somebody has a theory.
Oh.
That the guy helping her
was not real.
Locked her in there so she could just die by herself. And that she was hallucinating, but like she just dies in there. Even the concert. So we don't officially get that as a confirmation. But they said, remember, he was like,
yeah, he brought up, he's like you
the
can't
door,
open at the store.
Yeah, he's like, I'll be right back.
Which was weird.
Yeah. So either A, which is probably the most plausible, it was a hallucination, or B,
the end was a hallucination.
The end entirely was a hallucination, and it ends with her because they were like, he had a good enough like convincing her like, oh, I'm a nurse, this and that, but they're like, what if he was like, no, he picked a remote area, the thing won't open, like he just decided that she's done in there. So I guess if there's a third one, we'll find out, because either it's gonna go one of two ways. Either she died or
we're screwed.
She's passed it along to everybody else. So I thought that was an interesting theory too.
That's cool. I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah, only because if her friend was a hallucination the whole time, then to me I'm like, she wasn't fully overcome yet. So if the phone call in the car where she's like, what? I never reached out to you. So I don't know if that was a hallucination in her own mind and she's still in the freezer that whole time, But I guess that was before she got to the freezer, because she's on
Right.
her way.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the part where it's like, okay, because if that was the twist too, is like her friend, you know,
Yeah.
allegedly was never there. So I don't know, but I liked it.
Me too. I like those theories.
I do too. That's why I'm excited if I'm like, okay, well now y'all got to do a third one.
Oof, please don't flop.
I know. I'm like, maybe not. But either A, it's like an apocalypse.
Yeah, right. Because now everybody has it.
It's spreading like a disease.
Yeah. That
would be crazy.
Very.
I liked it.
This is the second movie we've had this year that's horror and concert based.
It is. It reminded me of
Trap.
Yes.
And it was a better Trap for sure.
Yes.
Because it made more sense. Trap was about the serial killer being trapped at a music concert, not the artist. And we saw a lot of her singing, and then Russ popped up. You know, it was like
It
doing
was
too
giving
much.
concert.
Very much. But this one, it was like it made sense why we saw her singing, why we saw her dancing, why she was on stage, because that's her job, that's what she's doing. And it made sense with like probably like this would be very intense for her if she were to get possessed and like die in front of everybody, which ends up happening. So
It raises the stakes.
it does in a good way. But yeah, I don't know if it's just because Naomi can act her ass off, but this movie is just so much better for me. Like I felt all her emotions, I felt the stress, but I do like the theme that they're carrying on in Smiles, where it's like our person that we're following is like responsible for somebody else's death. Because in the first one, you know, she walks out on her mom and her mom's like on the brink of dying, and in this movie she takes the steering wheel. And why mess with somebody who you know is insane? He said, yeah, bitch, you are crazy. She said, you want to see crazy? I was like, oh, girl.
But then it just sets everything together though, because you can tell obviously she's struggling. Like that alone is troubling, but then for her to think that she's the one who causes all this stuff, it's like, dang, you find out she was the reason why.
It sounds like you kind of do a little bit. You might be.
It does.
The common
Cussing her friend
denominator.
out, the drugs, not good.
Yep.
And I felt like her, because the first character, she did have definitely the trauma with her mom, who obviously unalived herself in front of her. But I feel like that was just really honed in more at the end. But I feel like Naomi's character, Riley, it was more the entire time. Riley, right?
I think it's Sky Riley.
Sky Riley, there we go. But like it was more, you could see her struggling with herself even before. Like it just was building and building, and then this was added to it.
Yeah.
Versus the first one where I felt like she was fine, and then it really hit her at the end, which is, I mean, listen, trauma works in different ways.
True.
But I think it was more dynamic to see the character that was already clearly very still struggling, and then just adding this, and it just kept spiraling out of control.
It
so
surely
I think
did.
I not liked that, but it made the character a little bit more dynamic.
I think my favorite jump scare in this one was whenever that fan was in her home and was butt booty naked, and we saw his doo-doo streaked underwear.
No, that was so. I was like, this movie is unhinged. But I meant to say, and he was at the end of the hallway. So, girl, if you don't run.
I remember seeing someone like kind of upset. They're like, how dare this movie show me doo-doo streaked underwear and then jump scare me afterwards?
They really set you up for that one.
They said, jump scare twice, bitch. You weren't expecting those.
I will say, the jump scares in this, they kept getting me. I'm not going to lie. Did you? Yeah, you saw this in theaters because I don't think it's out. Yeah. Girl, the amount of times I was like, they kept getting me. I was like, they doing their thing. Yeah. Like, when her friend was in her bed and she opened her mouth and eyes and it was the headlights.
Yeah.
Girl, I almost fell out of my seat.
Just like her.
They kept doing it. I was like, I know it was coming, but I didn't know. Like, they just kept doing it. And I'm like, So I saw some people didn't like that. They're like, this movie relied on jump scares, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry. I liked it.
But I felt like it was much more successful because we didn't see any of these fucking jump scares in the trailer. So it worked out.
Yes, they didn't show too much. So I really didn't know what to expect.
Same. Really, and I think that's what they messed up with.
Less
with the
is
first
more,
one.
y'all. Less is more. Stop showing me the whole damn movie in your trailer.
Especially a horror movie. Mama, there's only really two directions we go in.
They're going to die or they're not going to
die. So let's chill out. Less is more. Anyway. Anything else about Smile?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. Sequels. Why?
Overall, I don't think sequels are needed.
Let's talk about sequels specifically for horror.
I don't know. Unless it's like Insidious. I mean, I enjoy some that have like a continuous storyline that expand upon the universe. I saw a video once to explain it very well. They were talking about sequels in general, and it gave Shrek 2 as one of the best sequels of all time.
Where he becomes human?
Yes. fascinating video. It was like a 20-minute video about why Shrek 2 is the best sequel ever. But what they were saying is a good sequel it expands the universe that you're in. So like Shrek went from his swamp and what they're doing to like the city.
The physical universe.
Correct. Yes. It expands that universe, the world. And then they said a lot of other really good stuff to share in the video, but I think it's supposed to expand the universe, and I think we're supposed to learn more. Mm-hmm. In my opinion. Because sometimes there's a sequel, but it's really just the same movie twice.
Yes.
Kind of like the Alien series.
Right.
Except for Prometheus. And I think one more maybe that wasn't exactly like the other ones. But it's kind of like, if we're just going to keep doing this, I mean, at this point, you're just making money. Yeah. Or it's just a formula a lot of people like. So you just kind of keep doing it. But that's my criteria. So like with Smile, I think it did expand. Well, I mean, of course, we're expanding upon the first one because we see the guy that was last infected. Mm-hmm. You know, we're moving in and obviously she's a pop star, so we're a little bit on a bigger scale. But I guess in this one, you don't have to necessarily expand the universe. We're like on the human world, but I feel like they still did a good job about kind of expanding the story that was going on. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like we did not learn more, but we made progress, but how do you say?
That's where I kind of disagree. I feel like Smile 2 was a better version of Smile, and I don't think we really learned more about this demon or entity.
I kind of feel we did. Like when the guy that was helping her was explaining a little bit more, mm-hmm. like obviously we knew the basics of it, but I feel like we're learning how it works more. And he was saying that he's like, it's kind of like a parasite. You need to be alive. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it's literally attaching itself to your physical form. So if we're able to do this, and then at the end, now we didn't get a definitive answer, right? But I'm assuming that we're learning that this, because can this spirit only go into one other person,
or can
this spirit go and affect everybody?
Right.
And it seems like they're
or
implying,
did his plan work where she is actually dead and this is all fake?
And that worked, yeah. So I think in that sense, so we didn't learn like too much more. I mean, I think the spirit, it is what it is, but I think it was kind of like, we're getting somewhere. Can it do this? Can it do that? Can we kill it? Can we not? Like we're kind of getting somewhere. So maybe no direct answers, but from what I get at the end of the film, I'm getting that it's being passed to more than one person. And so now does it multiply, or does it have the capability? Is it one spirit that can feed through everyone else? I guess we'll figure it out, but
I kind of see that, but I feel like we didn't really get anything new. Kind of like, I feel like the most like new information we got was like from maybe Beetlejuice, where we found out that he was married before. Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of these horror sequels have a problem of like not expanding about what we already know. Like A Quiet Place A1 didn't expand. Joker 2, I don't count her. Alien Romulus was just the same movie. Yep. Except for like we did learn there's like, I guess, something you can do with blood perhaps. But like it was also perhaps, like there wasn't anything to it yet.
We didn't get anywhere with that.
We're loading, I guess, potentially.
She just had a baby and then it killed her, but we didn't see the effects of it on her, other than the effect on her baby. But it's like, yes. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I do like the idea of being able to expand on different things to make a sequel worth it, because I think that's what we're coming to the conclusion to is I don't think sequels are really worth it. Especially, I don't think you have to go into theaters to see them anymore. I don't think it's worth going to theaters.
I also feel like a lot of horror films is already kind of a risky type of movie to make a lot of money on. So I feel like a lot of movies, and I've said this before, they don't have any second, third, fourth movies in mind. So I do see how sometimes they have a successful movie and they get really excited and okay, we've been cleared to do another one, but I can tell they didn't think this through. So I think that's where it falls short. So if you have someone who decides that they're going to do kind of like Insidious, like I feel like you could tell, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but I feel like you could tell they kept progressing as they went on. The last one, I don't know, but at least like the first 2 or 3, I could tell that they had a story that they're kind of playing out.
Same with Saw. They had an idea of what they were doing until it got out of hand.
Well, sometimes they go a little long, but so I feel like if they plan it out and you know that they want to do 2 or 3 movies of this horror film, yes, but I feel like most of them are one and done.
Yep.
And then they get excited and are like, okay, we'll do another one.
Yep.
And I can tell.
Yep.
So we need to go back to, I don't know if they ever did, but go back to planning. I don't know if it's just the way the system is set up now where you just try your best with one. I feel like it's that way even outside of horror.
Yeah, I think so.
Like with shows and stuff. Like, oh, we got renewed for another season. Okay. And they just kind of start making stuff up. I feel like back in the day, I might be making this up. But from what I see, I'm probably making this up. But I feel like streaming now has kind of done this. So when you had channels, like ABC Family. I'm going to use a really old word. When you had channels, they were like their own company entities. Mm-hmm. So they had the funds and backing. They had their own writers, and they could have people work on something, and they could put money towards something that could be more than one season, so they could flesh things out. But I feel like now with streaming, you shop your idea around. Whoever wants to take it will take it, and you try your best with what you've got. But it's not like you have a corporation necessarily behind you. Like Netflix might have writers, but I feel like back in the day, like the CW, you had like I think Fox 4 had their own shows. Like you just had places to go watch, but they were like companies that put a lot of money towards these shows, and the shows would be more thought out because they could back that kind. They could promise you, okay, well, we'll have you for 2-3 seasons. Yeah. So you knew you're going to get that. So I don't know. Like I said, that maybe is not how it is, but I feel like back in the day, the shows were a lot more flushed out, in my opinion. And now it's like, let's just go if it's popular. And I'm like,
please don't.
Please stop while you're
not anymore. Yeah. I don't know. When it comes to horror sequels, I think it can be fun. I like the idea of like rebooting old things. But like with Alien, I feel like I like the idea of like a reboot, especially with something that was done a while ago and with limited technology. And now we can make things look a lot better and a lot scarier. But I don't. I'm going to go anyways and see them. But still, I just don't know if it's really worth it.
Would you need a reboot, especially for Alien, when you feel like the reboots have rebooted? We've had so many since then that are not this like original story, but it might as well be.
So I don't know. Horror sequels, they're hit or misses, and it can sometimes be a little disappointing. Exactly. A big yawn indeed. But yeah. So definitive answer, Hayley. Yes or no to horror sequels? No. Oh, damn, quick.
Kayli?
What about Smile 3? You think that should be made? Oh.
I mean, there's always an exception to the rule. But for most of y'all, stop it.
Yeah, I agree.
Joker horror?
It was a horrible time.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I just don't feel like I've really ever seen a horror sequel that I was like, yeah, besides Smile 2. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think Smile 2 really is just a better version of the first one. Like if we got rid of the first movie, we could have just had this movie instead, and it would have been a better time. Yeah. Anyways, so sequels. Let us know. Mm-hmm. Do you think sequels are worth it?
Is it worth it? Let me work it. You're feeling me. Yeah. Sorry.
Anyways, yes, let us know if you think sequels in general, horror or otherwise, is even worth experiencing anymore. Is going to the movies even worth experiencing anymore? But what did you think about these 5 movies in particular? Did you like them? If you like sequels, or if you just like 2 things all the time.
If you like things that keep continuing and they shouldn't.
No.
Check us out.
No.
Sorry. Okay, do it again.
A folie deux, that means like a shared madness. Did you know that's what that meant?
Thank you. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, I'm not saying it right at all. Anyways, if you like shared delusions, please follow us at Instagram at Hayley and Kayli. We also have a TikTok at Hayley and Kayli as well, where we post other content. Anyways, Hayley, what else do we have?
We have a YouTube. So if you're watching our beautiful faces here, you know that. If you don't, and you're listening to this on probably not Spotify or Apple.
Damn.
Anyways, we have a YouTube channel, so check out the rest of our videos where we have other movie reviews and just other shenanigans that we do. You can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us all your questions, comments, concerns, etc.
That's it.
And that's it.
Tell us what you thought about these below. Happy spooky season. You know, this is our last one of the season. And we ended on such a sour note, honestly, except for Smile 2. That was a good time. But still, like, everything else, I'm just like, maybe we should have talked about something else for the end of the spooky season.
Never that.
Us being happy? Never.
Never.
Anyways, until next time.
Stay spooky.
No spooky fingers?
Yo, ready to go. Stay spooky.
A floating pillow.
Ooh. Yeah, hold on.
A witch's brew.
Ooh.
Where is it coming from? Oh my God.
Zoom in. Woo.
Great. I don't think I would watch a scary movie in theaters by myself, though. That's too much.
Sometimes, if I was the only one in there, girl, I'll walk out so fast. If I was like crickets in there, and
imagine
I'm like,
if it was you and just one other person and smile.
No.
And that person turned around.
So they turn. Nope. You ain't gotta tell me. I'm closing my eyes. Don't do nothing in front of me.
I can't see shit, bitch. Don't kill yourself. It's not worth it.